The year 1920 marked a pivotal moment in American history. It was a time of great change and progress, a time when the voices of women, long silenced, began to be heard in the halls of power. The 19th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified, granting women the right to vote. This monumental achievement was the result of tireless efforts by countless individuals who believed in the fundamental principle of equality. This victory came after decades of struggle by courageous women and men who believed in equal rights. Leaders like Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton dedicated their lives to the cause, facing immense opposition and hardship. The suffrage movement, as it was known, fought tirelessly to secure this fundamental right. They organized rallies, gave speeches, and marched in parades, all to demand that their voices be heard. The 19th Amendment was not just about the right to vote. It symbolized a broader recognition of women's roles in society and their contributions to the nation. It was about recognizing women as equal citizens in the United States. This newfound recognition allowed women to participate more fully in civic life and to influence the direction of the country. Before the 19th Amendment, women were largely excluded from the political process. They were denied a voice in the decisions that affected their lives and their communities. They couldn't vote or hold elected office. Their exclusion from the political sphere meant that their needs and perspectives were often ignored. Their voices were silenced in a system that considered them second-class citizens. But the suffragettes refused to accept this status quo. The passage of the amendment shattered this barrier, ushering in a new era for women and American democracy. It was a moment of triumph and a testament to the power of perseverance. The 19th Amendment did not magically solve all issues of gender inequality. Many challenges remained, and the fight for true equality continued. However, it provided women with a powerful tool to advocate for their interests and shape the nation's future. With the right to vote, women could now influence legislation, support candidates who represented their views, and hold elected officials accountable. Over the past century, women have made significant strides in politics and beyond. They have run for office, served in government, and led movements for social change. The legacy of the suffragettes lives on in the continued efforts to achieve gender equality. Their courage and determination laid the foundation for future generations to build upon. As we reflect on a century of votes for women, we honor the pioneers who fought for this right and recognize the ongoing work needed to ensure that all voices are heard in our democracy. The enfranchisement of women had a profound impact on American politics. Initially, many politicians assumed women would vote as a bloc. They thought women would favor certain candidates or issues based solely on their gender. This assumption proved largely unfounded. Women, like men, voted based on a variety of factors. These included their economic interests, social beliefs, and personal convictions. The political landscape became more diverse and nuanced with women's participation. The two major political parties had to adapt to this new reality. They could no longer ignore the concerns of half the population. Candidates and platforms began to address issues important to women, such as education, healthcare, and child welfare. The 19th Amendment didn't just change who voted, it changed what issues were considered important in American political discourse. The victory of the 19th Amendment was the culmination of decades of tireless work by countless individuals. This monumental achievement was not the result of a single event or a few prominent figures, but rather a collective effort that spanned generations. The journey toward securing the right to vote for women was filled with numerous challenges, setbacks, and triumphs. It was a testament to the unwavering determination and resilience of those who believed in equality and justice. These suffragists, as they were called, came from all walks of life. They were teachers, factory workers, homemakers, and professionals. Despite their diverse backgrounds, they shared a common goal: to secure the right to vote for women. Their unity and purpose was a powerful force that transcended social, economic, and racial barriers. They organized rallies, wrote articles, and lobbied politicians, all while balancing their personal and professional lives. They were united in their belief that women deserved the same rights and opportunities as men. This belief was not just about voting, it was about achieving broader social and economic equality. The suffragists envisioned a world where women could pursue education, careers, and personal aspirations without being hindered by discriminatory laws and societal norms. Their vision extended beyond the ballot box, aiming for a society where gender did not dictate one's potential or opportunities. One of the most prominent figures in the suffrage movement was Susan B. Anthony. Her name has become synonymous with the fight for women's rights. Anthony's dedication to the cause was unwavering, and her efforts laid the groundwork for future generations of activists. She was a visionary leader who understood the importance of both grassroots organizing and strategic political action. A tireless advocate for women's rights, Anthony co-founded the National Woman Suffrage Association in 1869. This organization played a crucial role in coordinating efforts across the country, providing a unified voice for the movement. Under Anthony's leadership, the association organized conventions, published literature, and lobbied lawmakers, all aimed at securing the right to vote for women. She traveled the country, delivering speeches and organizing petitions to rally support for the cause. Anthony's tireless travels and public speaking engagements helped to raise awareness and garner support from both women and men. Her ability to articulate the injustices faced by women and her passionate advocacy inspired many to join the movement. Her speeches were not just about suffrage, they addressed broader issues of gender equality and human rights. Another key figure was Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Stanton was not only a close friend of Anthony's but also a formidable leader in her own right. Her intellectual contributions and strategic thinking were instrumental in shaping the direction of the suffrage movement. Stanton's ability to articulate the philosophical and legal arguments for women's rights provided a strong foundation for the movement's demands. A close friend and collaborator of Anthony's, Stanton was instrumental in drafting the Declaration of Sentiments. This groundbreaking document outlined the grievances and demands of women, drawing parallels to the Declaration of Independence. It called for equal rights in education, employment, and most importantly, the right to vote. Stanton's eloquence and conviction in presenting these demands galvanized support and set the stage for future advocacy. This document, presented at the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, is considered the cornerstone of the women's rights movement in the United States. The Seneca Falls Convention marked the beginning of an organized effort to address the legal and social inequalities faced by women. It was a bold and revolutionary step that challenged the status quo and laid the groundwork for future activism. These early pioneers faced fierce opposition and ridicule. They were often mocked in the press and jeered at during public appearances. Despite the hostility, they remained steadfast in their commitment to the cause. Their courage in the face of adversity inspired others to join the movement and continue the fight for equality. They were often arrested and imprisoned for their activism. These arrests were meant to intimidate and silence them, but instead, they only strengthened their resolve. The suffragists used their imprisonment as a platform to draw attention to their cause, turning their personal sacrifices into powerful statements of resistance. Yet they persevered, paving the way for future generations of suffragists. Their relentless efforts and unwavering belief in justice eventually led to the passage of the 19th Amendment. This victory was not just a win for women, but a significant step forward for democracy and human rights. The legacy of these pioneers continues to inspire and remind us of the power of collective action and the importance of standing up for what is right. While the 19th Amendment granted women the right to vote, it did not guarantee their equal representation in government. The amendment was a monumental step forward, but it was just the beginning of a much longer journey. The number of women elected to public office remained dismally low for decades after the amendment's passage. Despite the newfound right to vote, women were still largely absent from the halls of power. There were several reasons for this slow progress. Societal norms and deeply ingrained gender roles played a significant part. Women were often expected to prioritize home and family over public life. Women often faced discrimination from political parties. They were frequently overlooked for candidacies and leadership roles within the parties. They were rarely given the same opportunities as men to run for office. Even when they did run, they faced significant barriers, including lack of funding and support. Additionally, societal expectations and family responsibilities often limited women's ability to pursue political careers. The double burden of managing a household and a career was a significant deterrent. Despite these obstacles, women slowly began to make inroads in the political arena. They organized, campaigned, and gradually started to break through the barriers that had long held them back. In 1921, Rebecca Latimer Felton became the first woman to serve in the United States Senate. Her appointment was a groundbreaking moment, even though it lasted only a day. Her appointment, though brief, was a symbolic victory and a sign of changing times. It demonstrated that women could hold high office and paved the way for future generations. However, it wasn't until the latter half of the 20th century that women began to make significant gains in political representation. The feminist movements of the 1960s and 1970s played a crucial role in this progress, advocating for equal rights and opportunities. As more women entered the workforce and gained higher education, they also began to claim their rightful place in politics. The journey was long and arduous, but each step forward brought